In this update, we've got a big snowstorm currently brewing, along with a cold blast that promises to dive all the way down into Mexico by the time we get into your Halloween. So let's take a look at the big picture on the North American view this morning. You can see this deep pocket of cold air now building across the Northwest Territories. That's the pocket of energy that's going to be diving southbound through Canada down into the US and eventually make it all the way down into Mexico by the time we head into your Halloween. In fact, if you take a look at the alerts tab on the new Pow Ponder weather app, you can find the newest winter storm warnings just now issued across portions of Montana. That includes the Great Falls region as well as into Billings, Montana, where they are expecting over a foot of snow over the next couple of days, and down here into the DC region, across these regions, across Pennsylvania through Ohio, as well as into portions of Indiana. They actually saw some of the first frost and freezes of the season so far. So yes, that's right, I do have now my very own POW weather app. It's now, you can have POW in a pocket. I can have it on both devices. You can actually find it in the Google Play Store as well as into the Apple Store. So you can go to those two and then download it for yourself. Or I did create this convenient link in the description below so you can click on it and download the app, as well as subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. So let's take a look at the setup going forward. And remember Norma, Norma left some very heavy rain across Cabo San Lucas. That is the energy that's now going to be lifting into parts of Texas and Oklahoma. Remember, this area has just been very dry. They actually experienced temperatures well into the 90s this weekend with very dry conditions, and the humidity levels were very low. That's going to take a little bit of time. So you're actually seeing some possible rain on radar this morning, but a lot of that precipitation is actually not reaching the ground as of yet. It's saturating all the layers of the atmosphere. And eventually, by the time we head into this afternoon, especially into this evening time frame, most of that precipitation will be allowed to reach the surface. So I think the heaviest pocket of energy for today is going to be across portions of West Texas into the Oklahoma region, and this will only deepen as we get throughout the week. And then we are going to see subtle signs of pieces of severe storms for the next couple of days, where this energy comes down from Norma. We could be seeing this pocket of energy down here towards the Del Rio region, as well as further north into portions of Wisconsin here into southern portions of Minnesota. This is the favorite area that could see pockets of severe storms, just marginally based, over the next couple of days. But this is the main highlighted, impacted areas for heavy rainfall for between really now and your Friday timeframe. There's going to be a pocket of energy that leftover energy that came from Norma, and then we have a deep upper level low, a western trough that's going to be trending, and all that pocket of energy along with several cool fronts, that's going to set the stage for this main corridor to be really impacted over the next couple of days with steady streams of moisture. You can see pretty much down here in the southeast, you kind of remain on the high and dry side, as well as a good part of the northeast as well. I think you continue to remain on the dry side in the week ahead. So taking it day by day as we go into Wednesday timeframe, that's when I think the heaviest snow is really going to start to originate. I think it really starts to begin Tuesday night, but especially into Wednesday and a good part of that Idaho region into Montana. So those winter storm warnings and watches that I showed you will likely be expanded and extended as we get deeper into the middle of the week, and especially by the end of the week. But very heavy snowfall should start to unfold across these regions with 1 to 2 inch per hour snowfall rates. And so, yes, going into Wednesday timeframe, there is that upper level low, that pocket of energy that's going to be diving into portions of New Mexico. That's going to provide the lift, the additional lift after the remnants moves out from Norma. The replacement from the upper level low that's going to be building across the western regions, That will provide the lift mechanisms across Texas, across Oklahoma, into Kansas, through Missouri, through Arkansas region, all the way up to Illinois, does include the Indiana region. These areas are going to be in the bullseye, if you will, for steady streams of heavy precipitation, especially as we get into Wednesday night, into the overnight hours, going into Thursday morning. So the heaviest rainfall on Wednesday is going to originate and start. A new band, a new swath will be coming up, going into the Midland region, going to the Abilene region, back into San Angelo. That does include the Wichita Falls region, going all the way up into Lawton, say Oklahoma City region. And this will be extended further northbound as that steady stream of moisture, that deep pocket of, higher ocean content down there in the Gulf of Mexico, pulls in with the recurve from Norma and the western trough that's going to be coming in from the west. All that comes together for a steady stream of moisture that's going to be lifting through Missouri, through Iowa, all the way into Illinois. It does include Indiana as well, and portions of Ohio, and as well as into Michigan. That's going to be the favorite area. I think areas that it does include, say, Louisiana, portions of Mississippi and Alabama, got back into Tennessee, into Kentucky, and much of Georgia. I think you're going to be really remaining on the high and dry side through the Carolinas, up the East Coast. You've had plenty of rain for the Northeast over the last several weeks. You're just take a respite. I mean, you're going to be pretty dry in the week ahead, but we're going to be tracking this pretty pocket of cold air, and this is going to be the coldest temperature so far this season. That pocket of energy, it's going to take its time. It will take its time to get here, but once we head into this weekend, I think it's going to give that mechanism to dive southbound. Between now and then, that colder pocket of air is going to be really entrenched across a good part of Montana. We're talking 25, 30 degrees below average temperatures for this time of year, and the rest of us are going to be within that warm sector, kind of that that moist, soupy air mass. So going into that Thursday timeframe, after that moves out through Wednesday night, that pocket of energy pulls through North Texas, goes into East Texas, extends into eastern Oklahoma by then, eastern Kansas, going up to Iowa, and then back into portions of, Wisconsin here. And then further north, yes, that renewed snow will have likely expanded winter storm warnings be issued by then, as the heavier snows and the tight isobars will continue to fall across that region. And again, even on Friday, so we'll have a kind of a mini cool front that pulls through, has a renewed threat of lift in the atmosphere. So you're going to have, it's just going to be kind of a gray, dark, cloudy days across a good part of this region, where they're in that steady moisture pull really all week long. So really don't expect to see likely that much sunshine across these regions and into the week ahead. And then even into Saturday, see, between now and then, we're still got the colder air still building across a good part of the Northwest and into the same areas. It's waiting for this system to kind of move out, to allow these doors to kind of open, if you will, to allow that pocket of energy to dive southbound. So by the time we get deeper into Saturday, I think it's finally going to have that trigger to do so. So the first initial front's kind of like the teaser, if you will. And the second one that comes behind it is likely the pleaser, because that's the pocket of energy that's going to impact everybody, more or less, with that second piece of colder, stronger cold front. So back behind it, it's going to relieve a new blanket of snow across these regions into Wyoming, through the Dakotas. These will likely have winter storm warnings across these regions, as well as in the northern portions of Minnesota by then, as the freeze line continues to pull a little bit further south. So by the time we head into your Sunday, there is the cold front. So now you can actually see it pushing southbound as you'll wake up, and these wind chills are going to be a drastic difference of what you've experienced as of lately. So you're going to be waking up in the 20s, what feels like temperatures. So all these areas, definitely grab your winter coat. You're going to be needing it in a big way, but you can see the difference. You got 73 in North Texas, and you got 21 in Amarillo, as far as it feels like 50 what, 2 degrees difference there. So that's definitely an Arctic front for, October standards, as the colder air will continue to plunge southbound. So by the time we head into Monday, we've yet got a renewed threat of additional showers. So this is going to be a daily process of rain showers pretty much all week long across these same regions. And now with this second cold front that's going to be moving through, you'll have a renewed lift to produce a thin line of showers and thunderstorms. But look at that, guys. That's a 1045 Arctic high pressure diving into Wyoming. So for October, that's pretty significant. That tells you that's pretty cold air behind that system, as you're going to be seeing a sharp temperature gradient, and everybody will likely get into those colder temperatures by the time we go into Halloween, because it looks, all indications, it plunges all the way down into Mexico, with the feels like temperatures spreading all the way down into deep South Texas, with those 40s showing up on the map as far south as Houston and to San Antonio and to Austin, even the Shreveport region. So a good part, 85% at least, of the country is going to be experiencing a chilly Halloween coming up. So definitely pick a warm costume. Only areas that really don't see it as of yet is much of the Southeast, and especially into Florida. And there's parts of the Southwest that likely don't see the colder air as well. But 85% of the country will. So here's some of the snow that could unfold between now and then with our big snowstorm. So we're going to have kind of the 1-2 punch, if you will, with series of systems that's going to be diving in across these regions. So here's the graph in the bottom corner of the screen here. These areas in pink are highlighted, likely between, say, a foot, possibly up to 18 inches of snow, over the next 7 to 8 days across these regions. So it likely dives down towards the Rockies and then lifts northeast bound, impacting these areas across our north central US with a blanket of heavy snow in our first big snowstorm of the season. And along with that cold front, especially in the morning hours, there's probably a pocket of window where we could have, say, a glaze of ice, and even a glaze of ice on the roads, especially this time of year when they're certainly not expecting it. That could be really dangerous across these regions. So do use precaution going into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday timeframe across these regions where you highlight in this pink, because we could have some thinly coated roads across these regions into Nebraska, through Kansas, as well as into western Oklahoma, maybe the far extreme portions of the Texas Panhandle. And then here is your rain swath. Again, your graph is in the bottom of the screen, and all that deep red, that's easily 2 to 4 inches of rain across a good part of Texas, through Oklahoma, through Arkansas, through Kansas, eastern portions of Nebraska, Missouri, Illinois, getting into Iowa, southern portions of Minnesota and Wisconsin. That does include Indiana and parts of Ohio, as well as into Michigan. So that's going to be your favorite area of the rain swath over the next 7 days. And then diving southeast, you just don't really get into the action much, because you miss out on the cold front and you miss out on the rain opportunities. So it's going to remain kind of high and dry for you, and that does include a good part of the Carolinas. You may get some scattered showers across southern portions of Florida, but nonetheless, don't really expect much rain at all for the week ahead across these regions. And then up here into the Northwest, on the coastal regions, you'll have the rain, but obviously once it includes the inland regions, it's going to be cold enough where all that will be in the form of snow. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, and definitely check out my winter forecast after this update, and catch me the next update where I protect you before and after the storm.